go then. Do it.
Session 9, the Mirage. The new tavern owners filled their time waiting for Sharat to return to from his council meeting by doing a bit of cleaning up and repairs. McCood and Bryn go down to the docks to acquire stock for the bar. They meet a spirited wine merchant named Brud. They strike up an exclusive deal with him in exchange for discounted barrels from him. They negotiate for ale, wine, spirits, as well as a specialty item known as mine wine from Trest. McCood and Abrish Mina go shopping for diamonds, and thanks to McCood's help in being recognized as a priestess, she manages to get 3 diamonds for about £11 worth of diamond dust for a great price. Declan turns their basement into half lab, half practice room for weapons work. When the council meeting is over, we head to the Six Eyes to meet with Sharat. Declan talks of us buying the Mirage and projecting an image that we are trying to be a force for good in the community. Asks for his support in this endeavor in regards to the council, offering to be a public face for the ideals that the Six Eyes want to support without criminal element. A bit like Sharat gaining his seat on the council to further those aims, we become something he can support publicly to get the ideas out in the Shah. Sharat agrees and offers to send us some referrals for employment. He also shares that the council is not really interested in investigating what happened to the Vicar, other than to hear that it is reopening. Avrishmina gets her things back from Maya and Thal, and McCood gives his wyverns to Alluri for safekeeping while they go after the trapper. That evening, we meet the men that Sharat sent us, a halfling named Smear, a half-orc named Sugar, and an Ashari wizard named Tolix. We hire them all and give them opening date for the Mirage in 1 week. Before heading into the Trapper's tunnels, we get some potions of water breathing from a potion seller in the market. We make it to the entrance that Mirren told Declan about and enter the waterways. Continuing down the passageway, they come to a lock that once contained a mechanism to control the waterways. The path forward is blocked by heavy grates. A black ooze comes out of the crack in the wall that attacks McCood, the acidic mass melting McCood's weapons and burning him horribly. McCood loses control, flies into a rage, and hammers the thing and splatters it across the pit. That's it.
Very nice. Thank you, Dan. Inspiration, of course. One slight correction is that it wasn't heavy grates blocking the passage. It was lock walls. So they're like actual, like a grate would allow water to pass through. But like these are designed to sort of stop water, so you couldn't really slip through.
Gotcha.
But apart from that, yeah, perfect. Thank you, C, for writing that. So you are all standing in the waterways. Around you is the remains of this black, acidic, disgusting goo, and these 2 mechanisms that will allow you to leave the room, should you please. What would you like to do?
McCood is pounding any bit of slime that is left, and I imagine there's still...
burning your hands in the process.
Well, yeah. I was thinking mostly with his hammer, but
Right.
he probably takes some errant strikes at any last bits of slime, and because he was still raging at that point, I guess.
Yeah,
it's kind of whipping around him a little bit.
Your fur is definitely like patchy in places, and the skin is like red and kind of blistering.
Declan will sort of drop down from his perch in the ceiling and not get between you and the slime, but try to get your attention and say, "Friend McCood, please, calm yourself."
As he this one solid meaty fist goes into the last kind of clump of slime.
I'm going to kind of come over and begin looking at the wounds on McCood's body. And...
Okay, make me a medicine check if you will.
Sure. Ugh, that's no good. That's a 12.
Okay, so I mean, you'd know these are acid burns. You know,
Right.
you've seen. You get the impression that you could kind of relieve his pain with some kind of salve, but you definitely don't have the pieces on you to make it.
Okay. I'll kind of look over to Mina and say, "Is there anything that we can do for him here, or should we return so he can rest?"
So you did see that he was practically dead, and then Mina did give him a bit of health, so he's on like
Yeah.
a third.
Okay. Still, either
So-
way.
Either way.
Abrashmina will approach and lay another hand on Makud's beefy shoulder, and this is
Beefy.
yeah.
Because he's a cow.
Yeah. And she's going to use another charge from the Staff of Healing
Nice.
to heal him up some. I didn't roll as good as last time, so unfortunately that is only 7 plus 5 is
12.
12 points of healing.
Not nothing.
It is not nothing.
Will you be all right, Makud?
Without me having to change the hit points there, he's on like half now. So
If we take a rest here and if you take a rest here while I scout ahead, do you think you might be able to get yourself into fighting shape?
Makud kind of like looks at you, and I imagine there's like blotches like down his face or something a bit where the fur is gone, and he just goes, Makud is always in fighting shape.
Makud,
This I have no doubt.
there is no denying that, but perhaps you should sit down and contemplate things while I try to fix your hammer. And she'll like hold her hands out for your hammer that's kind of soft looking.
Dribbled.
He kind of like looks between the two of you and then just like sits down where he is, just like and he
Sit on some black pudding. D6.
Do you want me to roll?
No, I'm kidding.
And he like holds his hammer out, like the hammer is like as big as you.
Oh, yeah,
and he's
sure.
holding it like horizontally at his sitting height, which is probably quite easily at your arm height.
Abrashmila will take it with both hands, and still it'll kind of go, and she'll like sit down as well without trying not to drop it because her arms are very spindly. She's kind of like laying it across her lap, and she's going to try and mend up the bits where it got goopy. Mostly, even if I can't do it, it's mostly an excuse to make Makud sit down and take a short rest.
Roll me a wisdom check.
Sure. Ooh, that's a 17 on the die. So that will be, check is going to be 23.
Okay. So with that, I'll say you're able to fix it enough to remove one of the -1 points. You can reshape it, strengthen some of the bits that were ruined. It's not perfect. And you think that with another with some more time on it, you might be able to fix it up some more. But for now, it's only at -1 instead of -2.
While a short rest is happening, so the way out of this room is blocked, but there's mechanisms to open.
Yeah,
a gate.
fairly simple mechanisms. Yeah.
All right, I'll open it.
Cool. Which way? So, if you kind of came in, this room is rectangular, and you came in from up high,
running north to south.
Yeah, so you came in one of the short sides, and the two doors are the short sides. So you could double back on yourself, but through a different passageway, or you could go straight ahead.
I'd like to scout straight ahead.
Okay.
Like just go as quietly as I can.
Sure.
And get as much intel as I can without making any kind of attacks or anything like that.
Okay. So I'll take a stealth roll from you first, please.
Sure. I'll look over to Mina while she's working and say, I hope the Watcher is with me.
I would say she's probably busy with the mending because it's going to take her an hour. Sorry.
That's okay. That's going to be 21.
Okay.
See, you do not need the Watcher.
So you walk and you feel the passageway kind of start to have a bit of an incline to it. and you sort of follow it around a little ways, and it definitely seems like this place wasn't made for people to walk in. The ceiling is very low. The kind of sides of the passageway are eroded thanks to rushing water. From what you're seeing, you're getting the impression that this is sort of one of the ways the water flowed into the city from the oasis.
So this is going out towards the desert?
Yeah, you're not sure this is exactly the right way to go.
Okay.
Okay,
but once I figure that, I'm leaving the city center, and I'll go back.
Yeah.
And if I have time, I'll explore one of the other paths.
Yeah. So if you can, you can just come back and go the other way if you like.
Yeah, do that.
I will take then a investigation check, please.
Sure. Ooh, baby. That's going to be a 20.
Cool. Before we resolve that, what's Bryn doing?
So I imagine as Bryn is kind of just sitting there, she kind of will take out her lute that she usually keeps strung across her back and just kind of start picking out a little tune, and maybe it's kind of got some of that Ashar influences, and maybe it kind of reminds Makud of home, so he can take an extra d6 on his hit dice as I use Song of Rest.
Oh, damn.
Very cool.
Way to bard.
Hashtag bard so hard.
Okay.
Tell me when or if the hour is up before we get ambushed by another slime.
All right. So the hour ends just as Declan finds a different passageway with that 20 roll. You're following this tunnel, and it's fairly straight, and then you see it diverge, and on a whim you pick one of the sides, and you can see that immediately this is different. The stone and the sort of design of it seems much newer than the sort of eroded old passageway you've been going through. It seems like this was built more recently, or at least refurbished. And you come... Yeah?
So just so I have the timeline clear, I double back from the waterway, pick another path, and then along that path, there's a recently dug tunnel that seems new?
Correct. Okay. But the tunnel doesn't give you the impression of dug. Like, this was built.
Okay.
And by recently, I mean, within 5 years or so.
Okay.
So not brand new, but like...
It's not hundreds of years old.
Everything is much newer rather than, this ancient kind of sewer you're in at the moment.
Okay.
And you continue, and you come to this weird kind of sandstone dead end. And it's these big kind of thick stones that make up the sort of walls and floor. It sort of looks like the inside of a pyramid.
Mm.
And the room is perfectly, or the sort of cross-section of the corridor is perfectly square. Like the walls, the floor, and the ceiling are all the same length. And there is this large round doorway in front of you with this kind of like beetle kind of scarab motif, and these flowers and these desert trees kind of carved in this sort of fairly simple design. And on the walls, you see these 6, they almost look like sort of like mixing bowls sized kind of protrusions that are these kind of round bumps just sticking out of the wall, all at about head height in the corridor, 3 on either side of the wall, lining this corridor.
Okay. Can I do an investigation check, try to figure out what it may be? So I'm looking for secret doors, buttons, switches, traps.
Make me investigation then. Yeah, sure.
Things like that. Oh, natural 20.
Okay. You do find a secret door.
Ew.
So as you're sort of searching, kind of right at the front, the top of this room, there's this brick that seems kind of out of place, and sliding it aside, you find a kind of latch release behind, and you pull it, and the door swings open, and it just reveals this cupboard And inside it looks like there's kind of some cleaning supplies, what looks to be a few kind of poison darts and a blowgun.
Take that.
As well as a pair of these kind of very ornate looking goggles, like crystal lenses that you would wear over your eye, and they've sort of got this gold feathered relief pattern on the sides.
Fancy crystal goggles.
Indeed. And I would say about now is when the hour ends.
Okay.
And the short rest is up. So if you want to head back, or if you want to keep going and wait for the others to catch up.
No, I'll head back and inform them on what I found. Interesting chamber down this way. It's encrypted with, rather inscribed with strange hieroglyphs, and seemed to be a secret door that led to a broom closet. Strange. But I did find these. Bryn, do you think you could determine whether these are magical or not? They have the trappings to me, but...
I mean, they look interesting. I mean, I don't know necessarily about, determining.
Can you detect magical impressions?
I mean, no.
Oh. I'll look over to me now.
I could tomorrow. I did not prepare for that today, but I can. Can I look at them and?
Yeah, you
get
can
a
definitely make like an Arcana check.
I mean,
Either of you two can, I'll say.
my Arcana check will not be so good, but I will try.
I got an 18 on our Arcana check, but
That's better than my 11.
Okay. So these are definitely magical. And Bryn, you think it looks to you as though these probably enhance the wearer's sight to some extent. You're not sure how powerful they are, but you get the sense that wearing these might help you see beyond what a normal person would be able to see.
all right, I'll relay that information.
Put them on.
Okay, you put them on and nothing happens.
Okay.
This item requires attunement.
I will spend the next hour. Can I walk and attune? Or do I have to do that during a rest?
I will say you can, as long as you don't get into any encounters.
Okay. Well, I'll put them on. See what happens.
All right. So, are you returning to this door? What's the plan here?
As we approach it, do I recognize the motifs as having any sort of religious connotation?
Make me a religion check.
All right. That will be 18 plus for 22.
Okay, so not necessarily a religious check or a religious connotation. There are a lot of scarab beetle motifs in Ashar. It's often associated with like wealth and opulence. Some religions do employ scarab beetle designs, though they're more generically used as
This looks pretty.
Yeah, kind of. And that's kind of the sense you're getting from this, is it's this purely kind of decorative vein piece designed to sort of be like, look how fancy we are.
And the bowls in the walls?
So the bowls have kind of matching motifs, but you're not sure about those. You've never seen anything like this before.
How high up are they?
about head height for a
For
human.
who? Like
They are
how?
about 6 feet above the floor.
Okay.
They're bulges, right? They come out into the room rather
Yes,
than
so they
concave.
are
Yeah,
like someone has taken like mixing bowls
yeah,
and stuck them to the wall.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
Well, I
very much
solved
so.
it. I know what's happened. They've put bowls on the wall. Done and dusted.
And there seems like an obvious, you said circular door between these.
Yeah. So at the end of the corridor. So these are on your left and right. Straight ahead of you is this giant circular
Yeah.
door.
Makut,
On
can
closer
you-
inspection, I forgot to mention this earlier. On closer inspection, it's got these 4 keyholes that are very strange, like sort of triangular and thick, and like very, very large. And they don't look to have like your normal kind of tumblers that a lock would have. They look to be of some kind of weird, different design.
in the door?
Yeah.
Makut, can you see if anything has been in those bowls recently? Or if anything goes there, since he's taller than 6 feet?
They're not bowls to put stuff in. They're like bulges on the wall.
Oh,
And it's
okay.
like a mixing bowl stuck
That
to
was
the
just how
wall.
I've described
I
it. Yeah.
see. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because
Can
I was picturing like someone took like a bowl and like shoved it into clay.
No,
and so
that
there
was
was
just
still,
how
like,
I
a
described it.
recess. Okay.
They are these round. They're not necessarily like they're very deliberately put. They're perfect circles,
Mm-hmm.
but they are these hemispheres of sandstone that are equidistant along the wall, 3 on each side.
Do they
about
look
6
like
feet
they can move? Without touching them, do they look like they can move?
There are no outward signs that they might be able to move.
Can I examine the keyholes?
You may.
I would like to investigate them.
You may do that.
Mina will lay a hand on your shoulder and say the Watcher is guiding you.
Yay! I'm gonna need it too. I rolled a 7. Let's see. Which makes that an 11, which is great. Which makes it a 21.
You have seen locks like this. Not exactly this design, but you know immediately what it's for. These locks are designed to make it really hard to pick them. They are employed all over by, thieves and criminals. They are essentially like, instead of having a tumbler, it's like a giant gear so that it takes a lot of force to turn the key, which means, using picks and, getting something in there and twisting it is impossible if you don't have the right shaped key because you can't get the right amount of leverage. You could definitely try and, pick them if you wanted, and I would definitely let you, but you need a hell of a good roll.
Is this something? Do either of you have any magic that would allow us to create simple objects?
I'm afraid that is not something that I can do. If the door was unlocked, I could open it.
The door was unlocked?
Like thaumaturgy, she can make it go. Boom.
Ah, I see. If we could find something of the right shape, I'm sure we could get it open.
Even if it's a broken thing, I can mend it into the right shape, maybe. But do you have any clay in your bag of tricks?
I unfortunately do not have clay.
I have a candle. If I shove it in there, can I get an impression of what the key should look like?
Yeah, so these keyholes are not like they are large. You can put your eye right up to them. They're a good inch wide.
So bigger than my candle.
Yeah.
Okay.
They are not a key that needs a specific they do need specific grooves, but it is more about having a key the exact right size to be able to you need the leverage to be able to turn it as well. It's designed to be difficult to pick. Not impossible, because nothing's impossible, but difficult.
Bryn, do you have anything?
I mean, I can make it feel really bad about itself.
Well, we'll come back to that. That might prove useful. I guess I'll just try to pick it.
All right.
Before he like starts picking it, can we do something with the bowls to see if and did someone hide a key underneath the fake stone, the fake stone rock in the garden?
All right.
Actually, can I check for traps before we do anything?
Okay.
Sure. Good.
might be a good idea. Yeah.
That's going to be a 20 again.
Okay, so you're sort of checking the door. You know, you're like feeling around the edges, and you're like, doesn't
Like the
seem
bowls too, like anywhere.
Yeah,
in
like
this area.
you're checking everywhere, and you're like, I think this door's trapped. Then you turn around and you sort of like, there's a moment of silence, and you hear something, and you're like, hold on. And you sort of get a little bit closer to one of the bowls. You can hear this like click, 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 sound coming from each of them.
Do I think there's a bomb in them? Or just
No,
okay.
it's much like
Maybe
I
think
only
about what's on the bowls.
What's
I
on
only
the bowl?
have one mouth, so it's quite hard to do an impression of this sound. But it's like a very kind of chaotic kind of sound, like a constant kind of chaotic clicking.
So I've seen this movie.
I don't think I have. Is it a like?
The Kill the Bowls, man. Great film. Nicolas Cage.
The
One of his
bees,
best.
man, the bees.
Does it sound like clicking gears?
That would require. Actually, you did roll pretty well. It doesn't sound. It doesn't sound mechanical.
Okay. Oh, so some kind of creatures.
Yes. So they're
Yeah.
decorating this entire chamber.
Okay.
Have you seen The Mummy, Dylan?
Yes.
Mhm.
So we might want to hold off on opening that door. So do I get the impression that if we open that there are beetles and horrible things on the other side of the door, and if we open it, they're going to spill out?
No,
Or if I
the other side of the
you heard
bowls.
that sound from the
From the bowls.
protrusions on the wall.
So if I fuck up, they will
Beetles
probably
come.
be released. Okay, got it.
I'm just saying, in the background of all of this, Makuda's been like getting ever closer to some of the bowls until you've started interacting with them.
Good. Don't touch the bowls, please.
I mean, I thought something was important in there.
It's filled with insects.
Do we think perhaps the key might be in one of the other passageways? Should we come back, or do you wish to try to?
Possibly. No, I think that might be a good instinct. Explore all of the avenues before returning here. Because if the only way to go is through this door, and I fail to open the door, I think we will be covered in poisonous biting insects. And none of us want that.
It is something I wish to avoid, yes.
Right. I will sort of start off in the direction that we haven't explored yet.
Okay.
Abrashmina will follow.
Thanks. So, as you kind of head down the rest of the corridor, you come out over the kind of a bit lower down over a different balcony of that kind of large room. If you remember last time, part of your journey, you came out onto a balcony over a much larger kind of cistern room.
Mm-hmm.
You're lower down in that room, sort of seems like you're kind of heading to the center. As you continue on,
Being very stealthy.
being extremely loud.
Oh, come on.
Just saw that I wrote sex eyes in my notes at one point, and I was giggling at that. Just different.
I don't think we want to go anywhere
I had my
near
notes
those
in two
beetles.
columns, so it was like a different section. I was like, oh, that's not what that is. So you kind of head into this round chamber.
Quietly.
Very quietly. And it's immediately you see there's sort of a dark kind of shape in the corner.
Declan says, "Hey!" No, I'm kidding.
It doesn't appear to be moving, and the first impression you get is that it is dead. It's a very strange creature, however.
Eyes of
And
the grave.
Pardon?
Eyes of the grave.
What is that?
Lets me detect undead within feet.
Okay. X feet. You do not detect
60.
any
60 feet.
undead within 60 or any other number of feet. This creature is extremely strange to you. It's very, very large, and has this kind of blue carapace, and these flared sections at the top of its long, prehensile neck, that makes it kind of look like a cobra, except it's got these orange spikes running all the way down its back and hundreds of legs, that all look like they could, take off your arm. But in its mouth is a very, very muscular, also dead individual. He has black hair. He looks very much a Shari, but has sort of this like black kind of beard that kind of comes out around his slowly rotting face. He looks like he's been here maybe a week, 2 weeks, and is very much like dead in this thing's jaws. In the side of this creature, you see an axe, a huge. Only Makud out of you would be able to wield this. Its handle is thick and it's made of. You notice immediately it's forged entirely from one piece of metal. It's not been put together. It has been shaped and hardened into this position. An entirely metal haft ending in a double-bitted head, with these sort of square kind of dwarven designs and ending in like this big kind of polygon at the top that is buried in the side of this creature.
The guy a dwarf? You said he's a Shah, but
Yeah, he's not a dwarf. He's just got a dwarven axe.
but he's very muscular enough to.
He is, yeah, very muscular. Kind of looks like your classic pit fighter, but you don't recognize him.
I'd like to examine the scene and just kind of take stock.
A
The initial
type creature? Is that what
Pardon?
was it like a centipede?
Yeah, centipede-ish, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, so make me a quick investigation check, Declan.
Sure.
If someone would like to help him, you can have advantage. I'm happy for that.
Sure, I'll help.
Okay. That's going to be a 26.
Okay, so, I mean, immediately what's happened here is pretty obvious. This man got in a fight, and the two combatants, him and the creature, killed one another. You also notice, though, that it appears you see another smaller set of thousands and thousands of tracks kind of scampering away more recently away from this fight scene. You get the impression there's maybe another one of these things, but a bit smaller somewhere.
So
seem to have died in the
specifically with that check, I'd like to check what's on his person, any clues to see who this guy was, why he was here, and if my thought is that there might have been some kind of like if the thousands and thousands of legs, like to me means like a bunch of babies. So I just want to try to find out if there's any way that like a bunch of babies might have gotten out of here.
Okay. So, firstly, on his person, you find a large bag of gold.
Sweet.
And you see this sort of contract for service that basically, after a quick glance, showing it to one of the people who can read Ashari, which I believe is maybe only.
I think I read Ashari.
No, you read Ashari, of course. You kind of get the impression that he was contracted to come down here and deal with whatever was causing trouble.
Contracted by who?
It just looks like the state.
Okay.
Like nothing particularly interesting. You find 41 gold pieces.
Okay.
And he looks, like your typical sort of vagabond adventurer type, meeting an early end at the hands of this horrible centipede creature.
Okay. Did the contract have his name on it?
It probably did.
What's his name, Rob?
God damn it. Oh, I did have a name thing written
I have
down.
to go find his widow.
Yeah. Do you have a family? Give me just a moment. I had a thing of names. But on your other question, which was thousands of younglings,
They didn't like burst out of his chest or something.
no. So there's no signs of like, a birth or anything. And the footsteps are only partially smaller. So you don't think there's like really small babies, but it looks like there was a younger one. And it looks probably only about one that's escaped.
Okay.
And we will say his name is Jabari.
Jabari.
Yeah. Jabari Hussein.
Nice.
Abrashmina is going to perform rites over the body.
Very well.
Small little prayer in Ashari that basically says that you have been seen and you will find your way to the endless night.
Has Declan like moved away onto the tracks?
Yeah, he's following
No.
the track to see where they go.
Okay, and Mina's performing the rites. So there's
Mhm.
a big hoof is gonna go into the side of the creature, and Makuda's gonna rip the axe free.
This is a nice axe, perfectly weighted. There's a little bit of magic to it, maybe, but who cares about that? It's it feels right in your hands. It's got these kind of like grip points that work well with your grip. It's heavy but not unwieldy. You feel like you could do some damage.
Good.
Almost makes having your skin melt off worth it, huh?
Once you've attuned to this item, let me know. Which is
Okay. Well, he's going to be carrying it.
yeah,
I guess he's going to passively attune unless something else happens. But
I'm happy for that to occur.
wait, thanks.
And actually, Dan, you can turn to page 155 and have a look at your item. In the meantime, Dylan, I'll say by now, like through all this kind of walking and stuff, you've become attuned. Your item is on page 168, bottom right of your Dungeon Master's Guide.
I don't have that in front of me.
Then I will read it. It is the Eyes of the Eagle.
Nice.
It is an uncommon item. Crystal lenses fit over the eyes. While wearing them, you have advantage on wisdom perception checks that rely on sight. In conditions of clear visibility, you can make out details of even extremely distant creatures and objects as far as 2 feet across, even. Not long.
Nice.
But I believe, yes. Furthermore, so this is a little addendum that I've added. If you are in like poor visibility, say a sandstorm or something, then you can see as though you were not in poor visibility.
Cool.
Dan, have you got your DMG with you?
I can look it up in a second. I'm just writing and looking, so it'll take me a while. But...
Okay. No worries at all.
Was it 151?
155.
155.
Yeah, 155. I'm quite liking this kind of secret item thing. I don't know. Maybe it's dull and
I
odd.
presume it's the only axe on that page.
Yeah, you have presumed correctly.
Okay.
Maybe the more seasoned among you may have already know what it is, but it's a classic. So, Declan, these tracks lead down a corridor and into a very nearby side chamber that appears very dark, and you hear nothing coming from it, though. You kind of get the impression...
There's not nothing down there.
Yeah, you get that feeling.
Okay. So it was a tunnel going down?
Yeah, it goes like the passageway goes down a little ways,
Hmm.
and then ends up kind of coming out into this smaller room.
And the smaller room is where the tracks lead.
Correct.
Okay. I will just wait there and listen, and I assume the party will catch up with me.
Is that assumption correct?
Yeah, I don't think we were.
Sure.
Aberashmina just wanted to perform rites. Makud got his thing, and then we would have wandered after Declan.
Makud probably sort of swings it through the air a few times and then into the millipede centipede creature thing a couple of times, just getting a feel for it as people kind of peel away.
Yeah, it feels good.
Mm-hmm.
And so you will come to Declan. Fuck.
Yes, come to Dylan Declan.
Come to Declan. My next character is going to be called
Yes.
Rorb. So you come to Declan, outside this dark, small room. You see there's like a little bit of kind of debris at the near corner of the room. Just looks like kind of trash and like some ruined, like broken wooden structure. It's kind of by the doorway just inside the room. But it's very dark. And the only light is sort of coming from like a torch a ways down the hall. So it's kind of creating these long flickering shadows that...
So there's light coming from down the hall.
Down the hall that you've just come from.
I can bring us more light if we would like to see better.
Not just yet. So the room we're about to enter is completely dark?
Yes.
I have dark vision up to 30 feet. I have dark vision.
Okay. So, anyone
60 feet is dark vision.
with dark vision.
It's her feet of dark vision.
Anyone with feet of dark vision can see the vague shape in the back of the room, and it's a circular room. You can see the vague shape of something beginning to stir. Something very reminiscent of the creature you saw with an axe in it upstairs, or up the way. It's got these overlapping scales and these long kind of clickety-clackety legs. These large like feelers that are sort of twitching and begin kind of pointing in your direction as it tastes and smells and senses your presence.
You said that there is a torch in the back of the room near it that is
There's
lit but low.
No, there is a torch down the hall that you've just came from a ways away.
Oh, okay. Abrashmina will point out the shape. It's like it is there. I think it sees us. She'll whisper quietly.
Where's it at? I don't quite see it. Squinting, trying to make it so I can see it.
Brashmina will take out a little pebble and cast light on it and then throw it at the end of the hall to brighten it up.
The end of the hall and into the room.
Into the room, where towards the creature, so that my human friends can see it.
So you see this kind of pebble like float and land, and you see there's these blue and orange scales, and as soon as there's a noise, it just moves with this kind of ungodly speed, like kind of like twisting and just snaking towards you, and bursting forth like right up into your face is this huge creature just letting out this ungodly screech. This huge kind of fanned like fins that flare out from the back of its head and these like jagged kind of teeth that are the same color and like material as the scales that cover its entire back, and it just screeches at you. Let's roll initiative. That's
No.
Natural 20.
That's a 21.
oh man, you fucking guys are going hard. What about my creature?
What about my creature?
Creature.
I got 19.
I got a 20.
No, 19.
What was your total? So 23, 21, 20, 19. God damn, this thing's gonna
Yeah.
get fucking nuked.
What is it? Now that we can. I mean, I guess I should have
If we
asked that
know.
whenever we were investigating the dead one.
Yeah, you can make a nature check. Was it 19 or 20 from Makud?
19 for Makud. 15 nature check.
You have never seen one of these before.
Okay.
Because I should have really made you roll with a disadvantage. Bryn, you can roll a nature check with advantage.
Ooh, advantage.
What?
Let's see what that's gonna be. That is an 18.
Give me one moment. Okay.
Because
So
this is
you-
not something that's ever shown up in the Bakar before.
This is not an Ashari creature. In fact, this is a creature that makes its home in the most northern of climes, generally living in like snowy places.
Can I? Oh, so someone knows that. Okay, sorry.
Bryn knows this.
Okay.
This Bryn is a Remoraz, a young one, but you think the only possible explanation that it could have got here is they are very like highly prized. They can be trained and are very like dangerous creatures and will always do what they're told once well trained. So you think this is probably there was like a young one once sold and now they're sort of maybe a family down like kind of living down here. Or was, but now there is just this one. But yeah, you know this. You know they are basically run on like self-generated steam, and so are extremely hot to the point where they can cause like actual scalding with their saliva and that sort of thing. And you just see like steam kind of pouring off it.
I'll kind of swear and I have no idea where this came from, but you're going to want to be careful you don't get burnt.
Likely brought here by the trapper, I would assume. Living up to his namesake.
Maybe.
Go get him.
All right. Declan, you're up first.
Oh, right. I'm up first. So what's the layout of the room?
So you are all kind of standing in the doorway.
Mhm.
Ahead of you is a fairly compact, maybe 20 feet by 20 feet circle, circular room. Very, very dark, but the Remoraz is right up in your face.
Oh, he's okay right there.
Yeah, he sort of, the light came and he just like lunged and screeched.
Okay. I will move my full distance backwards.
Okay.
And then, is there any place for me to hide?
You could definitely like hide around the corner in the room, if you know what I mean, or out of the room. So like move around like out of sight down the hall so that it can't see you from in the room.
Well,
But
the
there's
idea would
nothing
be
really
to
hide
like,
behind
hide,
per se.
like right, to find a hiding spot, make it lose track of me, and then throw something.
So you could definitely like kind of put your back to the wall and sort of poke around and attack it that way. And but, you know, we can say you're hidden there, but
Okay.
as for like things that for you to actually hide behind, there's very little. So you got to use the sort
Any kind of
structure.
obscurement.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
you can definitely block line of sight with it, just
Okay.
using the doorway.
All right. So bonus action will be to hide, which is a 19.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, you are a lucky boy.
It does not see me, I guess,
It does not.
as far as I know. Let's see. That'll be a 17 to hit.
17 does hit.
Woohoo! This will be with the hand crossbow.
Sounds good.
Rolling so many dice. Boom. Oh, that's pretty good. 15, 19, 22 points of damage.
22.
And it's an action to reload a hand crossbow, right?
You should ask someone who knows the rules better than I do.
I think it is.
I don't
Don't
know.
have crossbow expert, then yes.
Yeah.
Or I think it reloads for free at the end of your turn.
I'll look it up.
It's just to stop you from shooting many times unless you've got the feat.
Okay. Abrashmina. Unless there's anything Declan to do additional. Doesn't sound like it. Go for it.
Okay.
Oh, no. Sorry.
Abrashmina is going to cast Guiding Bolt.
Guiding bolt.
Up the butt.
To try and light this sucker up. She's going to miss with an
a-
11.
Misses.
Yeah.
So your guiding bolt just kind of zooms into the room, and you definitely see that like it illuminates the room somewhat again, and you see just like bits of like rat skeletons and all that sort of thing, and excrement and broken bits of furniture and like scalded, burned creatures like lying all around the room.
And then I'm going to back away from it.
Cool.
No, because I can't cast two
Yep.
first level
I knew
spells.
you were-
Yeah, okay.
Brynhild.
Let's go up and attack it.
Solid practical.
The first one is going to be a. That's not what I want. That's what I want. 25.
Hits.
For a whopping 4 points of damage.
4 points. Okay. You stab into this thing between the scales, and as soon as your blade pierces it, there's just this burning kind of like hiss of steam that just blasts out like opening an oven while it's on it. You just kind of, and it like blisters against your face. You take 3 fire damage as you hit it.
And then my second one misses.
Okay, so I imagine you sort of like go for another, but you kind of stumble back, like your eyes just get burnt. Makood.
Using the axe currently unattuned is better than using the hammer because I won't have the minus. And also it's his new fandangled weapon, so probably going to give it some swings. So he's going to move in. Doesn't really have much other option, and is going to start trying to pulverize this creature. It's obviously like vicious, mad.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's not like
it's
the
attacking.
wyverns. This can't be.
No,
This
this
can't
is
be
attacking.
tamed in any way.
It could have been tamed if you'd hatched it from an egg.
Yeah. 17.
It's
Cool. The axe is 1d12, I'm imagining.
I believe so.
I'm just going to roll that because that was what I was rolling before. That is 10 damage. Not a fantastic hit.
Okay.
Do you want to do
You
said
take
fire thing? Yeah.
8 fire damage as the steam just bursts up.
Cool. Okay. If the last one hit, this one definitely hits. That's 15 on the dice plus like 8.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a better hit. That's. He's not raging yet. 11 plus 5 for 16 damage.
Okay. You can take 5 fire damage again as this thing just like lets out these kind of bursts of like steam. And you can see like beneath the flesh is like actually hissing and burning. It screeches and spins around, its jaws heading straight for Bryn. But as it goes, Bryn, you just dart aside and you just hear this whoosh as the jaws just miss you, as it misses its only attack for the round. It kind of wheels around in place, sort of like readjusting and rearing up to look menacing, as though it's not certain of its ability to kill you all, and so sort of trying to make itself look scarier and scare you away, and it lets out this another great hiss. But Declan, it is your turn at this juncture.
Lather, rinse, repeat. I am gonna try to hide again, or just kind of get out of its field of vision so I can get around and make another sneak attack.
Good. I mean, there are people in melee with it.
Right, but I get advantage if I'm hidden.
Oh, okay.
And that is a 12.
Okay, you do not feel like you've been able to evade this thing. You see the way it's kind of feelers sort of like move. You get the impression that it doesn't necessarily need to see you to know where you are. And so in this instance, you've sort of like made quite a lot of noise as you've gone around the corner, or more than you were expecting. And you get the impression you're moving on from it.
Okay, but I get the impression that it is tracking me by sound or by scent. Roll insight?
Make me an insight check, I'll say.
I'm pretty good at that. Not when I roll shady, though. That's going to be a 17.
You don't think it's sight or scent.
So
You get something else. The way they're moving, it seems as though they can sense the reverberations.
He has tremors heads. All right. Well, anyway, I'm taking a attack with no advantage.
Very well.
Ooh, that's a good roll, though. 25?
25 hits.
Sweet. Let's see. It's 19 points of damage.
19. God damn. This thing is on the ropes. It is like burning and hissing and trying to sort of like scuttle away, but not retreating, but trying to sort of make itself less of a target. Abrashmina.
Abrashmina is going to toll the dead. That will be a wisdom saving throw, please.
18.
That saves.
I
So
apologize.
nothing happens.
What does that look like?
Whenever she does it,
yeah,
she kind of like raises her hand, and like the holy symbol in her hand kind of flares that purple light like in her thing, and there's just like this tong bell sound that reverberates around the air, and like her allies don't really care, but to whoever she is targeting, it sounds as though death meals are coming for them.
And I think like the like you see sort of the feelers kind of rattling, but this thing doesn't seem to be affected by it this time. Bryn.
Yep.
2 more swings with rapier. The first one will hit with a 24. And I imagine the other
Yep.
one's going to miss with a 12.
Yes, yeah, it does.
And that's going to be 9 points of damage.
9 points. Very well. This thing is still up. McCood.
Bryn, did you back off, or should you have taken some fire damage?
Oh,
there?
yes, of course. My apologies. Thank you for helping.
No problem.
9 points of fire damage, Bryn.
Thank you so much for helping.
No problem. It doesn't burst fire when Dex shoots it, even if we're close. It's only when you hit it, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Correct.
cool.
It's still like spurts steam, but
Sure.
no one's like it's only if you're hitting it with a melee attack that you're going to get hit with it.
Okay. There's no way to quench this at all. There's no water anywhere close, so I can't drag it to anything and do anything smart. I'm going to continue to try strike it probably at the head. Try behead the creature. 18 on the die plus 8.
Yeah, that hits.
12 damage.
Describe how you kill this thing.
So I think, as I said, like he's never fought one of these things before, but he's fought all kind of manner of beasts that he had no idea what was coming necessarily. He knows how to think on his feet a little bit. So he's seen the steam coming out, and it's burnt him, and it's burnt Bryn, and he sort of waits for it to move, like overextend itself, and he kind of slides to one side, and then brings the axe heavily down just behind the head, decapitating it and sending the steam spurting out like that way.
Very nice. And as this thing dies, I think we're going to take a quick 5-minute break if that's cool.
Yeah. BRB.
I'll be right back.
Okie dokie.
Okie dokie. Artichoke.
Hello.
Macood kills the thing.
Ooh, with the new axe. Didn't take it very long to murder something. With
That
it,
is too how to do this with for Macood. The last
true.
fights. He's gotten the final blow.
Point of blue.
That's what Macood's here for, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Good punchman. I do not think it will be a particularly long session tonight.
Can't imagine why.
My arm is starting to hurt again.
No, now I feel bad.
I have to stop at the usual stop time today.
Cool.
Anyway, so
We'll see how far we make it. I am slowly dying. So we may only go for like another hour and a half, but we'll see.
whatever you need to do.
Thanks, man.
Mhm.
I'm very much enjoying this game. I like that it's going slow, but the plot isn't necessarily. But like the leveling and progression and that sort of thing is, and there's so much to explore, that kind of thing.
Totally.
Guys getting a foothold in a familiar city. It's good fun.
Yeah, it's been great so far.
I've been enjoying it as well, even if my accent is all over the place.
Your accent
No.
I'm back, by the way.
I think that's everybody back here.
Yeah.
Woo!
All right.
Or me and Jade back because the fellas never left.
Pretty much.
You're better than this. Maybe.
I mean, those are your words. I didn't say anything.
Good.
So, children, enough. You are. Excuse me. You are standing over the corpse of this thing, and it is still like extremely hot, just radiating heat. But you can see like the spaces between the scales are slowly discharging like a gentle kind of cloud of steam that's dissipating.
What exactly is generating the heat? Can I try to figure that out?
Yeah, definitely.
What am I rolling? Investigation? Nature?
This
Medicine?
would probably be, I'll say, nature.
No good. 14?
So, on a high level, you can tell that this creature has some kind of internal organ dedicated to generating heat and converting energy into heat. As you know from what Bryn has said, it is designed for snowy climes. and so like a large proportion of its body is based around heat storage and heat generation. And so there's like this big kind of organ that runs the length of it that essentially is somehow, when given food, that is able to convert that, much like we convert it into energy and fat and whatever. It converts it into heat.
Is it possible to extract and preserve the thing, the organ?
It is possible to try.
I would like to try.
You can make a medicine check.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to make a hot water bottle.
Or something.
Get out of it.
17.
Okay. So because the organ runs the length of this creature, I'm going to say you can't get the whole thing.
Hmm.
However, you're able to kind of, once it's cooled a little bit, take a section of it. And I'm going to say it's enough to where you think maybe you'll be able to fabricate some kind of, you can use it maybe as a design or maybe a basis for a design. Like you've got a good understanding of how it works, and you've been able to extract enough of this to where you can put it to use, but you haven't been able to get the whole thing. It sort of breaks apart at one point, and part of it's kind of ruined by Makood's axe swings and
whatever I can take. I'll take a small enough piece to fit into a biological sample case.
Yeah, sure.
Because you made a comment before about the acid. I was like, Makood maybe not, but I was going to comment that you didn't take any of the slime.
Well, because it would melt all my stuff.
Well, it might. People have acids in glass test tubes and things.
True. I think this dissolves most.
Probably.
In a stone box.
I was pretty confident my glass was not immune to this magical acid.
Is it made of stone?
Hmm?
Glass box.
Is it made of stone? No.
Yeah, black puddings can't burn through stone.
That's why I didn't go through the floor.
Makes sense.
Because we killed it, I'm curious, has it cooked itself?
I am going to say 100% absolutely.
Oh, good.
Now that you ask.
Makood takes a handful to eat. Is it good enough for the feast for opening our bar?
I'm going to say, like, you kind of pull up one of the legs and it comes away like those, like, top-down Facebook recipes that are all like these pull-apart foods, and it comes apart with, like, a beautiful drumstick of flesh on the end, just steaming, perfect temperature. Give it a try. It's hearty. It's delicious.
Is it good?
It's not bad, actually. I've not eaten beasts that taste quite this good in a long time.
In self-cooking, this could revolutionize the life of the home cook.
It could revolutionize the mirage.
I suppose.
It could be the centerpiece of a feast when we open it.
The centipede of the feast.
Do I think the centipede flesh will last a week for the opening?
You are not convinced that it will.
I do not think it will last long enough for the opening, Makood.
All the more for Makood then. And he starts like hunk, 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 as he's just like pulling.
There's something
rations,
disturbing about a
supplies.
carnivorous cow.
Mm-hmm.
I always play all of my cows carnivorous.
They love beef.
Cows are all carnivores. You just never see them.
I would like to search.
Isn't the Minotaur of myth a man-eater? That's why they throw men down into them.
Yeah. Like to light up the room some so that we can investigate the space that the creature was in.
That is very much doable, and you find that it's sort of just this nest of broken, useless things, smashed up furniture, and well, not furniture necessarily, but smashed up objects. Kind of hard to determine what they were, like animal, rat corpses, that sort of thing. It just looks like the lair of a beast making its home here. Nothing of interest really to you.
Was there? I'm sorry. Was there a way out of this room on the way we came in?
No, but the corridor does continue past it.
Okay. Let's continue on. If you're done enjoying your newfound meats.
He's like loading chunks of it into bags or whatever, satchels, whatever he has on him.
I'd like to stealth ahead a little bit, while Makood is chopping up meat.
Okay, roll me a d6.
D6. It's ominous. Can I investigate?
Be careful.
I rolled a 6.
Okay. In that case, roll me a d100 as well, please.
Jeez Louise.
How many rolls?
86.
86, he says.
That's what I says.
That is an interesting proposition. So you kind of travel down the corridor some ways, and it comes to some steps heading down. As you
checking for traps, listening for things.
Yeah, make me an investigation check there, buddy.
All right. 29.
Fucking hell. Okay. So you kind of come round to a corridor, and it looks like there's nothing in it. And then your Declan sense just tingles a second, and you kind of peer into one of the shadows, and you see just about where you would have walked is a primed bear trap.
Now those are. Is there anything more complicated to this bear trap, or is it just you step on it?
It's just a straight bear trap.
I'm gonna disarm it.
Okay. Yeah, make me a sleight of hand. Thieves' tools, yeah, thieves' tools.
Oh, that's gonna be.
I mean, at what point is it just how fast can you push it down and pull your hand back?
Well, I mean,
That's not how you disarm a bear trap.
Hey, I'll play Dead by Daylight.
Sure
That's
is.
how you disarm a bear trap.
I'm trying to get it to close quietly so that it's, not
I
gonna
know. I know Declan wouldn't do that. I'm just taking the piss.
That's gonna be 16.
Yes. That is very easily done. This is a fairly standard trap. You've probably done it before, in fact. You now have a bear trap.
Sweet. Yeah, go ahead.
If you keep going down with a goddamn 29, you also see you come to another door, and this one is fairly simple. It's just a wooden door that's square but kind of rounded at the top, like a classic fantasy door, I would say. And you sort of go to kind of peer into the log, have a look, and you see that just kind of above the lock is this sort of little round hatch, almost like when you on your front door that you kind of pull aside to look through the little eyepiece. Just this hatch, and you kind of push it aside slowly, and as you do, there's sort of simultaneous action. Slowly a poison needle kind of comes out, and as you close the hatch, it closes, and you can tell that had you tried to pick this lock without knowing that there would have been a poison needle in your hand.
Got it. I would like to try to disarm the trap.
Yeah.
These tools. Nice.
Oh,
that's
wow.
going to be a 25.
Okay. A 25 is good enough. So you sort of push it aside, take the needle at the sides, and just pull it out, and it just clicks out. You now have a poisoned needle, should you wish to use it.
Sure.
Do you wanna? You can make a check to open the door, or you can wait for the others to catch up.
I'm going to wait for everybody else.
Okay. So everybody else, you arrive at the door. You see that Declan is carrying a poison needle and a bear trap that he didn't seem to have before. And he's standing beside this door, preparing to kill.
Makood is laden
Before
with meat.
anyone says anything, I will just put my finger up to my lips, and I'll kind of mouth ready, and then I'm gonna unlock the door.
Very well.
Oh, that's not good. 12. Shit.
Okay. A 12
Oh,
is good enough to open this door.
And I will step back so.
So yeah. Yeah. Makood, then you step into this kind of very large square chamber. Ahead of you, you see what appears to be like a sort of small kind of like controls block. Like it's got a couple levers and that sort of thing just for moving stuff around. You also see that there is two figures kind of sitting on a bench on the far side. You also see like beside them is a ladder that looks like it leads like all the way up and out. And they're kind of sitting on a bench, their backs to you, just kind of like chatting. One of them's eating an apple. And they just look, both are wearing these kind of black robes. And Declan, if you sort of get a glimpse, you see these robes you recognize from the man who attacked.
Yep. I'm just going to put a hand on Makood to still him for a moment, and I'd like to just listen. If I can see their mouths moving, I can read their lips.
Their backs are to you.
Okay.
However, like you turn around, or they sort of turn to one another, and so you catch. I'll say, you catch like every couple words, and they're just talking about being stuck down here and how much it sucks, and no one ever comes down here, so why do they have to be down here, and all that kind of thing.
I'll take my hand off Makood.
He's kind of just laden with meat. More meat than usual. He's a beefier boy. He kind of like looks at you and then looks at them and like.
I'll just give it go get him.
Okay.
Before he does though, assuming we're hidden, I'll take a crossbow bolt shot, trying to hit the shoulder of one of the guys.
That's good.
Okay, that's going to be a 21 to hit.
21 hits.
18 points of damage.
Oh damn. Okay. This guy just like slumps forward. He's not dead, but he's damn close.
Okay.
The other one yells, jumps to his feet, and kind of sprints. Like,
I'm already on the move.
Pardon? Yeah. I'll say you can attack before, just because that was a situation that we were in.
Okay. What, before he jumps up and yells, or
before he does anything?
He's surprised.
He jumps up and
right?
yells,
Okay.
and Makood smacks him.
Okay. Makood runs up. Can I attempt to grapple him first?
Of course, sir.
Okay. So contested athletics or
Yeah.
things.
Oh man,
I've got a 23, which was not the best.
rolled a
one.
natural 2.
Okay. So Makood like runs up and grabs the guy, I imagine like by the back of the head, and then like lifts him up and goes, "Do you have a family?"
Oh, the guy doesn't reply.
Do we need to roll initiative, or are we just kind of acting?
That was one of 2 actions.
Oh, okay.
And Makud is like, he's not sure what to do. If you don't answer me, then I don't know if I should kill you or not.
The guy doesn't say anything else, but reaches down into his cloak or his vestments and sort of pulls out a golden necklace with lots of tiny orange orbs, beads hanging from it, and he yanks off one of the beads and throws it down at your feet as you're holding him.
Okay.
Dexterity saving throw, please.
He's immolating himself, huh?
Yeah, he is also going to make.
And his friend.
I'm not going to make his friend roll. He passes.
He passed. He's
did.
grappled. He has no movement. He can't go anywhere.
True. That's true. Never mind. He didn't pass.
I have 17.
17 does pass. So you take half of Fireball. Which I
burned
didn't
all
count.
day.
Yeah. I didn't get enough D6s out of 4, but there you go. There we go. So. Oh, damn. Okay. Okay, that's a little bit shitter.
Does he fail the save, by the way?
Yeah.
What I imagine is Mac like sees it happening and he just slams him into the ground, like on top of the orange thing. So he like takes the brunt of it.
It's like, you know, when you, like the people dive on the grenade to save
Yes.
everyone. It's like the opposite. You dive. He dies. 27 max, 13 halved. So you take 13 Makud, and he just.
What was the current damage I was on? I know I'm not updating the thing, but I'm now 26 hit points down from 64. So you see Makud run up, Declan, ask if he has a family. The guy scrambles for something, and then they all just immolate. And I imagine his friend is dead as well. And Makud is just standing there with like a charred corpse.
Did it kill?
Just a spine in his hand.
Yeah.
Did it kill the guy that I shot?
It did.
It did. Okay. Well, that didn't go as I hoped. I'll look to Mina and say, do you think you could stabilize this one for questioning?
I approach the bodies.
Yeah, it's certainly possible. You'll be in a lot of pain.
Spare the dying, then.
Yeah. So you see, like, the breath is about to leave his breast, and you just spare him with your god's light, and he sort of like his breath kind of stabilizes, and like parts of his skin kind of heal, and you can see like he's definitely not going to be in a pleasant way, but is still alive. The necklace is sort of just hanging out over his shirt now.
Oh, isn't it the other guy who survived? The guy who crossbowed? Or...
Which guy are you saving?
Whatever one seems that they would have a more pleasant time living.
I mean,
I was going to
both got
say-
burned to death, but one has a crossbow bolt in him.
I was going to say it would perhaps be more humane to let him die and then speak to his spirit, but
I mean, if that's something you can do, I didn't know you could do that.
it is something I can do now, but perhaps this is...
You did describe I was holding a spine, so I thought the guy that I had was dead. So
I am going to pick up the necklace from the pile of ashes at Makud's feet. Though.
Makud is just like looking at you like, I asked if they had their family. Like,
Makud, they
Just
don't
make me a-
learn some subtlety, I think.
But the one that is not a hunk of ash
Very well.
is the one I am sparing.
Are you sparing or are you speaking to the dead?
I'm gonna spare him. Like cantrip versus a 3rd level spell. Fuck, I'm using my cantrip, bro.
Well, hold on. Before you do anything, I didn't realize that you could speak with the dead. Can you compel them to honesty?
They cannot lie, but they do not have to answer.
I see. Do you think that you could persuade the spirit to comply with you based on your religious powers? Does the Watcher hold some sway in negotiating with the dead, I suppose?
Over the men of Ashar, yes. The Watcher can, even if they believe in another god, the Watcher can deny them their passage to wherever they wish to go. But these men are fanatics. Even that might not be enough to sway them.
Well, that's exactly my problem. If we bring them back to life, we can try to persuade them to share information with us, but in my experience with these men, they are not likely to comply.
Well, we can always try it living, because that is what you would prefer, yes, to spare them if we can. And then if they do not prove reasonable, we can always try again with their spirit.
So kill them?
Mina shrugs.
I mean, I think they killed themselves.
Right, but what you're saying is we should resurrect them, talk to them, and then if they don't comply, kill them and talk to their spirits?
It is a tool that is within our arsenal, should we wish to use it.
That seems unnecessarily cruel.
So does perhaps that. Yeah, it is a gray line. It is super gray. I will admit that. But for now, the man is spared, because I would have had to have spared him. Otherwise, he is dead
Yeah.
while we're having this conversation.
Right. Well, that's just the right thing to do anyway. I'll check around the room. So he's stable, right? Not like conscious.
Correct.
Yeah.
He will wake in 2 hours, naturally.
Okay.
If we do not do anything to revive him.
I'll check the ash pile. I'll check this guy's body, see what's on them.
Okay. The ash pile holds nothing else of note other than a fairly generic Ashari-style dagger. This guy, again, he has a coin purse with 8 silver pieces in it, a dagger, a short sword, again of Ashari design, kind of like a khopesh, and that's about it.
Anything interesting about the daggers or the short sword?
Not particularly. They are Ashari designs, so they're very like curved and ornate. But on your inspection,
Okay.
they appear just shaped.
No oddly shaped keys.
0 oddly shaped keys.
Can I do an investigation of the room?
You may.
May I
what's
check
what?
the bench they were sitting on?
You may.
I'm just saying, Fireball sets light to everything in its area, so the bench is probably fairly crispy.
It is.
It's a 20 for investigation.
So you look around this room. It appears to be a sort of classic guard room. There's some rations. There's a bed. There's a basin for washing, a bucket for shitting, and that's pretty much it.
Nothing in the bench, no keys.
No keys.
Okay. Well, he's not going to wake up for another couple hours. I say. So there's a pathway going up, you said, like towards the surface?
There's a ladder
Yeah.
on the wall.
Yeah, I'd like to go to the ladder and just see if I can check the hatch and see where it leads.
Yeah. So you scamper up the ladder, and it comes out much further north than the Vicar. You kind of
But
come
back
out
to
an
the
alley. Yeah, and you sort of peer around, and you don't exactly know where you are, but you can kind of tell, like you can hear the sea, which you could from the Vicar side of the city. So you definitely think you're much closer to home in this area.
Closer to where we started.
Yeah, or close to the mirage.
Right. Okay.
Than where you
We started by going through a grate near the car, which is why you mentioned it.
Yeah.
Right.
But now we're nearer.
Now you're near the sea, which, if you look at the wondrous map I made,
So wondrous.
wondrous.
And there's, but we're continuing through the. We could continue down the hallway deeper into the sewer hallway
can.
also. So we're closer to home, and we've got this guy.
It is good to know we have a position of egress that's not involved going backtracking several hours.
Agreed. Perhaps we should take a moment to surrender this man to the authorities. Or perhaps just tie him up, leave him here, come back and get him later.
You do not wish to question him yourself?
I'm not sure it would be very fruitful. Bryn,
Yes.
generally a little more persuasive than I, better with people. Would you be willing to give it a try?
Sure. What do we want to know?
Where is the trapper? Where is the preacher? Anything he can tell us. What further traps may lay ahead of us in the dungeon? What is he guarding? Well, not the dungeon, the sewer. Things like that.
Do either of them have, like, I know one is a pile of ash, but does the other one have a map or anything that might be
No.
construed as a map?
Nothing you can see.
Where is
any tattoos that might be a map?
The ash pile has no tattoos.
Well, yes.
Neither does the gentleman.
There's a perfect tattoo, but it was burned away.
If you could discover, Brynhild, where the keys are for the room we were previously in, that would be helpful as well.
All right, but I do want to be upfront and honest. I may use all tools I have available to me. That it may include the threat of further violence.
I'm no stranger to such tactics myself. I trust you.
All right, then. Are we waiting, or?
Can we give him like one hit point and bring him up?
Brushmina will slap him awake.
And he kind of lets out this gasp, and like you can tell he's in a lot of pain, and immediately he begins to sort of whimper. But he is awake and available for questioning. He sort of just stares up at you, kind of clearly in pain, but conscious, cognizant.
Easy, friend, and I'll offer him my water skin.
He drinks from that in that kind of desperate Hollywood way, where loads of it runs down his chin.
See, unfortunately, you and your friend found some excitement while you were guarding this area. We have you at a bit of an advantage. And this can go one of two ways. Either you can give us the information you want, or I can drag it out of you.
Why? No. I'm loyal. I will not tell you.
Insight check.
Okay.
Oh. 17?
He is very scared and very much in pain. And you would know that when a person is scared and in pain, their loyalty is really only to one thing, and that's survival.
Okay.
You think you can, Bryn's going to be able to leverage this?
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my dagger, and I'm going to kind of use the hilt of it to kind of press into like an open wound and kind of twist just a little bit.
Yeah.
And be like I said, the easy way or the hard way.
He lets
And I
out this-
promise you,
Aye.
you will suffer.
That's like this kind of gut wrenching scream, and like tries to kind of push away from you, but you hold him down easily. And he sort of like feebly kind of pushes at your hand. Stop, please. What do you want to know?
Abrashmina is gonna step behind Brynhild, because this is an Ashari dude. Yes. Okay. And so she's going to make a point of displaying her symbol of the Watcher, and
Yeah.
she's going to say, "There is not afshal enough for you to repent for the things that your people have done. I suggest you help us."
His eyes do kind of widen at that. Bryn, you can make an intimidation check with advantage.
God bless advantage.
Mhm.
That is going to be a
God.
22.
Okay. He again lets out a gasp, stares up at you. He says, "Oh, all right. What do you want to know?"
Where's the trapper?
He's in his home, in the bunker.
In the bunker. Will
Man,
will the sewers lead us to the bunker?
if you go the right way,
You know the right way, don't you, friend?
it's through the scatter door.
Through the
Points
scare-
back the way you come from.
Ah, the door with the unusual keys?
He nods.
Where do we find the keys?
The trapper has the keys.
How do we get to him if we can't get through that door?
You're not supposed to be able to.
You know that that's not the only way in, right?
Well, I can't tell you that. He kind of
Put a little bit more pressure on the dagger.
well, but the round bits they have something to do with it.
The round bits. You mean on the wall?
Yes.
With
I
the
haven't-
beetles?
I haven't been told. He's nodding, but I've seen them messing with it.
Seen who?
I don't know. My bosses.
Tell me what you've seen them do.
They just twisted them.
A certain pattern.
Oh, they just twisted them and they came off.
Were they attacked?
Insight check.
Yeah.
Samesies.
Be a 17 again.
Abrashmina's.
Sorry, 18.
Abrashmina's is 25.
You're both
Friends
are
are
pretty confident.
26.
All three of you are pretty confident that he is telling the truth.
He's not trying to get us to mess
No.
with it to get us killed.
Seem like it.
Okay.
Yeah, he says, no, they were putting something in. Please.
What traps lay ahead of us?
There are many. There is. I've been through only once, but there is a scythe. There's a pit. There are monsters.
Detail for us the triggers for these traps and how far off they lay. If you give us honest answers, I can promise to release you into the custody of the constabulary.
Oh, I can't really remember.
You must.
The scythe is in a long, straight corridor, and it is a pressure plate. The pit is a round room, but I don't know what the trigger was. And there's a flooding room, and that triggers with a tripwire.
That everything?
Yes, and the monsters, but they just roam.
What kind of monsters?
Well, there is one. It is like a giant snake, and it sits in the corridors. There are hundreds and hundreds of tiny, tiny insects that fly around, but sting with like fire.
Very good. You think you've got everything you can out of him, Bryn?
I mean, unless he knows where the preacher is.
I don't. I don't. I swear.
Hmm.
Insight check.
I don't believe that.
That's gonna be a 21 insight.
Anyone else making insight checks?
Only 19 for me this time.
Bryn doesn't care. She doesn't believe him.
Unless I can guide myself. Can I?
I think you can. Yeah.
Makud largely isn't interested. So he's just kicking around the room or something in the ash pile.
Oh, here they are torturing the people again. Oh well.
What did you get?
With the I only got an extra one, so 19, 20, yeah, 20.
Okay. So you think he has told the truth? It seems not many people know exactly where the preacher is. He keeps those cards pretty close to his chest. But you think that maybe, well, he doesn't know where the preacher is. You know, he doesn't know nothing, and there's definitely more information you could get out of him.
Where is Medea? Or not Medea. Medea.
Madar.
Madar. Where is Madara?
I don't know.
Do I believe that one?
You do.
Okay.
What was the riddle for where the preacher is and the place of venom and something?
Venom,
Life.
sessions, and the life.
I'll ask him, where is the oasis, the place of venom, life, and something?
It's in the desert, I think. A little way south, past the oasis. You're supposed to keep the tallest mountain south beneath the sun while you're walking at noon. That is supposed to be the way. I don't know.
I'm gonna go into my pack and take out a set of manacles, and bind him hand and feet, and then I'm gonna take out a gag. Hmm?
Do you know where we can find Kolo or On?
I don't know. I swear.
In a moment, I'm going to bind your mouth and make sure that you are hobbled and that you cannot move until we return. Any information that you can give us to help us succeed will ensure that we do return and that you are not left to die here alone.
What is the name of On's ship?
On ship.
Or Kolo's ship.
Kolo's ship, yeah. Kolo's ship, the one that brings the slaves.
Abrashmina nods.
It is called the Chain Forger.
And which dock official does he bribe in order to land with his cargo?
I've done it once. He does not land in the main dock. He lands in the eastern dock. It is a man named Kisma.
Spelling, please.
In the chart.
Thank you. It was there before I even asked. Sorry.
All right.
Any more information we'd like?
What else can you tell us?
About what?
Anything.
I don't know anything else.
You should understand, my friend, that this is an opportunity for you to change course in your life. We are here to put an end to the preacher and his fanatical sect. You have the opportunity now to go and pay your debt to society. And I assume become a free man again one day.
Look, all I know is Kolo was sent away on a long journey. I'm not sure where he was going, but he's supposed to be back in a month. And I used to work for him on land, but because he was gone, I had to come work for Jura. That's all.
Why were you here guarding?
Because someone has to watch this entrance.
But it's
These
so
people-
secret and it's so secure.
I don't know. I don't pretend to make the rules. I just do what I'm told.
Brain will find a different spot, twist the dagger in, or the hilt of the dagger. What did they tell you to look out for?
Just people.
What people?
I don't know. They didn't say anything. They just said to guard it.
Do I have to insight check him, or do I get the sense that he's telling the truth?
You think he's telling the truth?
All right. I'm going to put a hand on Bryn's shoulder, saying, Bryn, it's enough. He's told us
Oh.
truthfully.
Why was no one guarding the Vicar entrance?
Someone should have been.
I think we know the answer to that question ourselves.
There was no one guarding when we came down.
It should have been.
Bryn will message Abershmina and be like, I think we may have had help on that one.
Don't get it, but okay.
One of the
Trust,
attractions.
just trust me
Okay.
on this one.
Oh, so you totally just told him how we got in here.
Yeah, I know.
If he's at all
Um,
smart. But
Maybe he's in too much pain to put two and two together.
maybe. Osabaku doesn't care. But
I'd like to knock him unconscious, if
Sure.
possible.
Yeah, he's
Just,
got one hit point. So.
Yeah, just swift blow to the head.
You breathe on him hard.
Yeah, exactly. And then basically the manacles are set up in such a way so that they've got they bind the feet and bind the hands, and there's a solid pole that runs between them, so you're essentially hogtied like that.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to put a gag in his mouth, so he can breathe. He's on his side. Yeah. And then probably just put him off in the corner.
Sounds good.
If we win the day, we'll come back for him.
And if he's not here, we know we have another enemy to look out for.
Those are the risks.
I don't think I like it.
Didn't expect you would.
I'll trust your judgment.
I appreciate it, Bryn. Well, there is a hatch right there. We could deposit him at the local garrison.
We could also keep going. We know we have to go through the scarab door, and that we can do something to the things to open it.
Yeah, they were putting things. They were putting the bugs in the trap. I think the
Sounded like
idea
they
is
were putting
right.
things in
Am I misunderstanding that, Rob?
I mean, he said what he said.
Right,
It
which I guess
does.
I'm trying to remember exactly.
Yeah,
he
it
said
does.
they
It
put
does
things
sound
in them
Yeah.
after unscrewing them, but you didn't ask what or what they
Right.
particularly what they put in them, or
Right.
How?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
wasn't
Yeah,
sure.
it was definitely a case of like he saw them fucking with it and like putting something in, but he wasn't
Sure.
really paying attention. He's a very
Okay.
much a like a low level.
Oh,
Luke.
so is it possible that the keys are in there, but you have to know which one because the rest are filled with bugs?
I mean, anything's possible.
Or it's possible that they're in there and there's bugs in there. You have to deal with the bugs to get the key.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
I think perhaps we should go. How far to the scarab door is it from where we're at?
Good hour.
A good hour.
A good hour.
Okay. Do we want to go try it?
Suppose.
Are we in any condition to fight?
Makud is the only one who has been hurt. Makud, do you need?
Mm, I got burnt a little bit.
Well, I mean, someone hasn't. It. You and Makud are the only ones who have been hurt. So it depends on if you feel like you can continue.
Makud's on slightly over half health.
Same.
Well, we could take another brief rest. I could bring this man to the garrison and be back before the rest of you have rested. I'll finish your rest.
You think you can get there and back again without being accosted?
Well, I don't think they're likely to accost me in the street. I think it would be the first of many signs to the people of the city that we're here doing a job.
You are far too trusting of our enemies.
It's not so much that I trust our enemies, but I have faith in decent people.
You trust that they're decent people.
All people are decent if you give them a chance. It's only the ones that have let themselves become corrupt that forget decency.
This entire city was built on corruption.
Well, I'm sure we'll have a long time for philosophical chats such as these, but for now, I think it looks like you need to take a breather. Can I feasibly get this guy up into the street?
It will be difficult, definitely. I mean, it's a ladder, and you're not the strongest dude ever.
Sure.
You
Could
definitely
Makud literally wear him as a backpack? And
yeah,
then just go
Makud could like
ladder?
do it. You could probably do it through the use of ropes.
Yeah,
You know,
so if Makud
go up
could
and then yank him up by a rope. But yeah,
Yeah.
like it's a full-grown dude,
Yeah.
and it's a long-ass ladder.
Can you take a rest while like moving?
I mean,
I mean,
don't think
it would take
take
me
rest.
all of 5 minutes to, like, I presume, to get him
Yeah.
up a ladder, and then I could start resting. Like,
Sure. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you can take him the rest of the way. Makud comes down and
what to do?
rest. Yeah.
Sure. Let's do that.
Cool.
Presuming you can manage a chain and gagged and half burnt man
Well,
in the street.
What I'm going to do while Makuda's getting off the ladder is I'm going to look around for anybody with a cart,
Yeah,
like any kind of vendor or just anybody pushing a cart full of whatever.
you're kind of in a back alley, but like you can see the main street, and you can see a couple carts.
I will approach just the first person with a cart.
All right, it's a short man, balding. His cart is fairly empty, with what looks to be like cloaks in it, and he looks to be kind of mostly sold out.
Good sir,
Oh,
Good
hello,
night.
my friend.
if I could trouble you for a strange request, I'd like to buy your cart.
The cart, all the
Yes.
items as well.
The items are unnecessary. What are they? They're just cloaks, you said?
Yeah.
Are they nice cloaks?
They're not bad.
Okay.
Not the best cloak you've ever seen.
Well, my interest is primarily in the cart. I would be willing to pay you the cart's value plus 10%.
Well, the cart's value is intrinsic to my business because I also like to sell my clothes.
Of course, that's why
Unless-
I'm offering you 10%, so you could buy a better cart.
Well, but I would have to carry around dirty cloaks, and that would ruin my stock. I'll tell you what, if you buy 4, 5 cloaks, then we can talk about the cart.
How much are the cloaks?
30 gold.
Insight check.
Okay.
Woof.
18.
This dude is trying to fleece you because you're a foreigner.
Mm-hmm. I'll give you 30 gold for the cloaks and the cart.
Good day. He like turns to sort of stop pushing his cart. But you can tell with your latent insight roll, he's more bluffing, like he's walking real slow, like hoping you'll be like, stop him with a better offer.
Yeah. I know that those items are not worth the dirt you're standing on. I feel that 30 gold is a more than generous offer.
Tell you what, we'll say 50 for the cloaks.
25.
40.
20.
You know, usually in haggling, you come to the middle.
15.
You are going down. Oh,
Or we could go with the original 30.
Or I could just go sell my cloaks elsewhere. Good day.
Go to somebody else who has a cart.
Yeah. Oh man, this is gonna be long.
I was gonna say, does Makud like walk out with the guy wearing a guy as a backpack, and it's just like, "Have you got the cart yet?"
I'm trying. This man is being very difficult.
Hello, little man. What do you take for your cart?
For you, 30 gold.
Makud like, paces out the gold or something to the guy like one after another or something. 30 gold. That is what you want, and you are happy. You are happy, little man.
Uh,
And he's like shrugging off a dude that is manacled off his
Yeah.
shoulders.
Yes. Yes. That is okay.
You are a good man. You do good deed for this city.
Yes.
Well said, Makud.
And he's like, enthusiastically waving as this tiny short man probably retreats very
Yeah,
quickly.
he's like scuttling away with what cloaks he has left.
Yeah. And I like heavily deposit the dude in the handcart.
And I think as we're going to have Declan take this dude to the guards, if you all don't mind, I think I'm going to have to call it.
Yeah.
Sure.
My arm is getting very sore.
Sorry you're not feeling well, man. That sucks.
It's all good.